Heyo, you're tuning into Toasted Reddit, where I cook your time with some Reddit stories. Right now, we've got Entitled Parents, where OP's single mom makes them move 14 times. Our first story is by No Foundation. Me and my mother moved 14 times from the day I was 5 to the day I was 18. I moved out by myself when I was 18 and have lived in the same apartment for over a decade. During these 10 years, she has moved an extra 8 times. I also lived on and off of my grandparents from time to time when I was a teenager because I didn't want to switch schools again in the last years because I finally got some nice friends for once and did not want to lose them by moving yet again. I'm just wondering, is this normal? I can see myself moving in with my girlfriend or she moving in with me, and then maybe after some time we have a child and need more space, then we move to a bigger place. But my mother is a crazy mover and have switched locations over 30 times in her own life since she was 18. It has gotten me thinking, like, how? Why is this even normal? Because for a long time, I thought it was just normal to move 2 to 3 times a year. But whenever I visited my friends as a kid and understood that their parents had lived in the same place for some 15 to 20 years, it just got me miffed out. My mother wants me to help her move over and over, and I'm just so sick of it. And when I told her enough, she started yelling at me, saying that I'm ungrateful and that I don't understand how unlucky she is. But really? Is it just misfortune? Please tell me I'm not crazy, because I am starting to think that my mother was up to no good and hit whatever reason she had to move from me very well. Well, before we get into the comments, I have to make my 10 cents here. OP, your mother is blatantly lying. This is not misfortune. This is not her being unlucky. She is moving like this so many times. That is straight up luck. How she has not ran into a bunch of tenants who have looked into her past and realized she has moved this much and then be like, whoa, that is a liability, is astonishing. How do you move that much and not have like a flag on your name at that rate? So, yeah, I'm absolutely in agreement with you, OP. There is something suspicious going on with your mother, because this is not unluckiness. This is not misfortune. This is her just being something of a con artist, in my opinion. But let us continue on with probably a more educated look from people who have maybe seen other things like this in the comment section. And the first comment comes from a military person. That is not normal. We are a military family and we move less often than you did. I've moved 8 times by next month in my life, and part of those were military moves. Her mother is definitely hiding from bill collectors from them to move that often. Or the mafia. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, maybe she's just moving so much that, like, because she's afraid of the mafia or something. That could be true, but at that rate, how did she get on the mafia's list? And then someone else says, I don't think it's because she was single. My parents didn't divorce until we were all adults, but in that same time frame, 20 years, we still moved about 12 times. All of those moves were due to my mother wanting to keep up with the Jones. The only 3 in that time frame that I see as legitimate moves, 2 were to move cities for employment regarding my father's career, and 1 was to go from a rental to their first bought house. Since my parents divorced, my mother has moved an additional 9 times. Some rentals, some owned condos. We don't discuss her motor vehicle turnover rate. None of us understand her moving patterns and behavior at all. My wife and I have lived in 2 places since we got together. Her rental home when we moved in together to the house we live in now for a bit over 20 years. We're starting to look for a townhouse because we're getting old and don't want to look after a yard anymore. Yikes. That is the second time I've heard a weird story about someone keeping up with the Jones. I've never seen this whole entire keeping up with the Jones, but from what I'm hearing from Reddit, it ain't good. I have no idea what keeping up with Jones is, but I've heard it 2 times already. That is a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. But, yeah, let me know what you're thinking down below. But, yeah, let us move on to the next story. And the next story comes from Hiya. So much to say and backstory, but I really don't feel like delving into my history. Essentially, my mom does not respect boundaries and wouldn't even care. So it is hard to manage my anxiety and remain neutral with her. She is getting more bold and entitled to ask and assume things. Within the last 8 months, probably the biggest ones I recall are asking my boyfriend and I to watch her foster dog every 2 weeks. Responsibility would fall on us because my boyfriend would be expected to drop off and pick up dog and would have to be on the day and time convenient for her. Thanksgiving 2023, she gave me and my boyfriend a to-do list when visiting for Thanksgiving. No other sibling or partner was, but we were because me and him help her. In general, when I visit, I should coordinate it to help with dogs or stuff around the house because she should not host me to host. Nor would she just want me to visit. She complains about my siblings just visiting and not helping. This weekend, she asked if my uncle who lived near me could drop off a large dog kennel for her and she'll pick it up. Which means that we'll have it for her however long and then be expected to drop it off because she wouldn't drive up. We told her no, and she said that she already told my uncle yes anyways. He dropped it off and ended up taking it to an Uber to her house, and she got annoyed when I told her we didn't want it there. And just now, which has pushed me over the edge, she has asked if me and my boyfriend could help pay her to get her roof done since it is due for it to be reshingled or whatever. This will probably cost $8,000, just guessing. And even if I found a cheap DIY handyman, it is still going to be in the low to mid thousands, which we couldn't afford to pay anyways. I just think that it is highly inappropriate to ask when I already help financially with covering what she isn't able to cover for her own bills and letting her use my credit card for a small amount of groceries and gas. I am flabbergasted and speechless. And right off the bat, OP, I'm gonna have to say you and your boyfriend need to grab a backbone. Holy cow. Like, you are the only people in her entire family that she treats this way. Is she asking your siblings to help with finances? Probably not, because she's not asking them to do a to-do list when they come by for Thanksgiving. And she's also not asking them to foster dogs. So, OP, you and your boyfriend just need to grab a backbone and say no. But let us get to the comments. And looky here, we have someone agreeing with me. You need to learn a new word. No. Slightly longer version. No, that doesn't work for us. It won't be easy. The guilt will be real and you'll likely attract flying monkeys. But you need to learn that word. Definitely this. I do, and she still will ask for things or not listen. Well, when that happens, go silent for a while or no contact for a day or two and increase as needed for your own well-being. It sounds like you and your boyfriend are being taken advantage of big time, but your siblings don't have to do anything, yet she expects you to do it all. And then we get someone making a bullet point as to what OP should be doing. 1. Cancel the credit card she uses of yours because you are paying for her bad financial decisions. 2. Tell her that you are not paying for her roof because you have your own bills, and if she needs more money to fix things, she needs to take out a loan, and before you do this, lock down your credit. 3. If she tells someone to drop something off, put it somewhere out of your way and let her know that she can get it or it stays where it is because you didn't agree to take it or bring it to her. 4. Never go to her house for anything. She treats you and your boyfriend as servants. That needs to end now. 5. Both of you need to grow a backbone and tell her to kick rocks. Nice version, what I would tell her is to fridge off. 6. Think seriously. What does she bring to your life other than grief? If the answer is nothing, cut her out of your life. While I think the last point is a little bit much, I don't really necessarily disagree. Based on what you said, she doesn't treat your siblings like this. So, when she or her flying monkeys come out and give you the BS of, but she's family, let them know that if she actually treated you as family, you would agree, but she treats you like servants and ATMs. So, since she does not treat you as family, she is not family to you. Dump the dog and move on without her in your lives. And so yeah, I think overall, just OP, grow a backbone. I think that is the best information here. But anywho, let us continue on. Now, before we continue on, I just want to ask that if you are enjoying this so far, that you consider recommending this channel to friends and family, or just people you know, because the help for this channel is greatly appreciated. So, to continue on, and the final story comes from a recognizable name, Ulfer. Last Friday afternoon, I found myself in an unfortunate situation. I do not understand how these people just keep finding me. I had to mow my half of the lawn. My dad is getting up there in age, so he bought himself a little riding lawnmower, and he has a blast doing the parts of the yard with fewer obstacles and landscaping to hit. And I, being younger and less brittle, get stuck with the push mower doing the more crowded stuff. It stinks, I don't get paid, but it is what it is. And I'm minding my own business, walking behind the mower and trying to avoid any grass mohawks while considering that my family had missed a bet. What if, instead of getting the riding mower, we got goats? They're effectively biological lawnmowers, and they're kinda cute if you squint a bit. I continued to muse on this while I took advantage of one of the perks of unpaid labor, which is frequent breaks. Does it make the mowing take longer? Yes. Am I okay with that? Absolutely. And just a note, I'm not seriously looking into this goat acquisition. It was just on my mind wandering. Kinda like a genius and impractical ideas if you come up with in the shower. Is r/lawn mowing thoughts a subreddit yet? And I had actually just punched "Can goats be house trained" into Google while lounging in a chair after emptying the bag for the umpteenth time when a car I did not recognize came down the road and actually stopped on the street near where I was sitting, and the middle-aged lady got out. Oddly enough, she looked acutely embarrassed more than anything. This was going to be good. Excuse me, young man, but would you mind mowing your yard a little bit later today? My family lives in the house behind yours. My son is sleeping and your mower is waking him up. And I found this rather odd. I assumed she was talking about an infant taking a nap because it was like 3 p.m., but that didn't really check out. She looked embarrassed more than anything. I'd figure if someone her age was worried about a child with nap time, she'd be tired or irritated. Maybe she adopted? I don't know. Either way, my life rule is in this instance, don't anger people who know where you live. So I smiled and said, I really don't mind taking a break. How long is the little one's nap usually? And she started to hem and haw. He's not napping, he's still asleep. I gave her another look. Night shift? Amusingly enough, her face brightened as if that was a fantastic excuse that she hasn't thought of yet. Yes, he works nights, she said enthusiastically, which told me everything I needed to know. Call of Duty or Fortnite? I asked, a knowing look on my face. Her face turned beet red. I'll be done soon, I said with a smirk. She turned and got back in her car without another word. And would you look at that? I had an incentive to stop taking so many breaks. Oddly enough, I didn't get it done any faster than I would have, and the mower never turned off. Not even when I was emptying the bag, and it just so happened to be the closest I could get to that house where I did it. And I made darn sure that the lawn was immaculate by the time I was done. Did the grass lines look a little wonky after the fact? Yep. Did I get any crap for it after explaining why I did what I did? Nope. But, well, I did turn off the mower once when I heard shouting. A familiar-sounding voice that was much louder than before was screaming, Went to bed at a reasonable time. I wouldn't have had to do that. I have a tournament coming up, Mom. You know it is important. OP, surely you didn't forget to weed whack around the place too, did you? Like, come on, you went halfway through here and then you just stopped. Like, why didn't you get the weed whacker out? Make sure it looked immaculate. You know, you said that the grass looked a little bit wonky, but why not just, line it up, make it look even better, just cause a little bit more of a ruckus outside. But jokes aside, OP, that is actually beautiful. that is quite an immaculate story, and I like it a lot. but let us continue on with the comments down below. And the first person says, you should have told her out to disconnect the Wi-Fi at midnight and set a password so the son gets trained to sleep at night. And Twitch, I have to make note, that's a great idea, and for this generation that might be that idea might work, but when I was a young person and I didn't have a device, I instead I did what people did today, just with a book. I read way past than when I should have. Like, I opened up a book for, I used to be a Lemony Snicket, or not used to be, I am a Lemony Snicket fan, and I used to read those books all the way until 4 o'clock in the morning. It was unhealthy, so turning off the Wi-Fi might actually just not work, but hey, I might also just be built different, but let us continue on. I have to nap frequently during the day, but that is because I have chronic fatigue syndrome and chronic pain syndrome along with fibromyalgia and nerve damage, also chronic lower back pain. People who game all night instead of sleeping should learn to wear earplugs instead of expecting everyone to pander to their needs. The world doesn't need to stop for stupid reasons like that. If it is a baby or toddler, someone chronically sick like me, or generally poorly, then that is fine. Facts. If it is a nap for a good reason, or even a night shift, cool, I am down to mow later. If you are up late paying duder's, no mercy. Yep, definitely. But my neighbor decided that he wants to mow his grass, and I don't tell him to stop. I put in my earplugs and ear defenders, and I can't expect the world to stop just because I'm sleeping. And I think that is a pretty good spot to end this off. But let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Did you like that story as much as I did? Because I thought it was pretty immaculate. I'm saying immaculate way too many times, and it is because I read it and now it is now stuck in my brain. But if you thought the story was good, let me know down below. Though, anywho, now, before I end this off, I'ma just let you know about my podcast, where I post the same old stuff just in a form where you can listen to while going to bed, doing homework, or just something to listen to while working. But whatever the occasion, it'll be there. But enough of that. That is just about it for those stories today. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to become a fellow bread bag. Though, aside from that, I post 2 new videos every day on YouTube, so I hope to see you next time toasting session. But until then, have a good one.